What's
Hello?
up, man?
So, you believe you're an Israelite, correct?
According to scripture,
Okay, does that mean that you're keeping the covenants of promise?
yes.
Okay,
God's statutes, commandments,
what about the
laws,
feast
yes.
days?
Yes.
Okay, well, it says in Deuteronomy 12 and Deuteronomy 16 that we can't do the feasts outside of the promised land. Doing them in the USA is a sin. We have to do it in the place that Yah puts his name, which is in Jerusalem forever. So we're profaning his holy feast days by doing them in the Gentile nations, according to scripture.
So, so you're telling me that because I'm in a different land that I don't have to keep God's ways, even though God knows that He was going to send us to different places, we
It's
still
not that
don't
you
keep
don't have to keep them, it's that you're not allowed to keep them. It's a punishment because we got exiled, not in the land. Well, it's our punishment. We're supposed to be finding the lost sheep. We're supposed to be the hunters and fishers, teaching people to obey the commandments of God, finding the people of Israel that were scattered into all four nations, or sorry, all four corners of the world. And that's what we're supposed to be doing right now, not feeding ourselves with the feasts, like in Ezekiel 34, evil shepherd. We feed the flock, not ourselves. And also, the Sabbath day, that's another important thing, which we are supposed to do outside the land because there's no location requirement for it in the Torah. It's not evening to evening like most people do, it's actually morning to morning. So Saturday, sunrise to sunrise. The evening to evening
that's
tradition
not what
comes from the
scripture. Bring, hey,
Babylonians where
hey,
Judah
hey,
was
I need
exiled.
to bring, hey, I need you to bring scripture when you. I should have put that in the prompt. Bring scripture, bro.
Okay,
Bring
how about
scripture.
Leviticus 7:15? It says that
Okay,
the
read it.
sacrifice, when it is offered, none of it is to be left until the morning, but it must still be eaten the same day, right?
Okay. Okay,
So,
you said the sacrifice, right?
yes.
Okay, so did we not have Christ come and be that sacrifice?
Okay, yes, that's true, but that's
So
not the
why are
point
we
of the
still
scripture.
following the old way of the old sacrifice? Because
Okay,
that,
listen,
that
listen.
that law is done
I'm
away
not
with.
using it to say that we still need a sacrifice. I'm just showing you how a biblical day operates using scripture. If this
Mm.
sacrifice, back in the time of Leviticus, which was the original way they reckoned the days, okay, during that time, if this sacrifice had to be eaten the same day and none of it was to be left until morning, that means that same day, that deadline for it ends at morning of the next day. Another example is in 1 Samuel chapter 19 verses 10 to 11 where Saul is trying to slay David, right? And it says that it is nighttime and David flees away. Then Saul, he tries to slay him in the morning, okay? And then his wife says also that he's going to be slain tomorrow, okay? And I can pull it up and read it for you. I may not have quoted it perfectly, but basically it's saying tomorrow means the next morning when it's already nighttime. And again, this is the time of David before they went into the Babylonian captivity and started reckoning their days from
So,
evening to
so,
evening. That's how the
so I got
Babylonians
a
reckon
question.
their
So I got a
days.
question. I got a question. So
Okay?
you said morning to morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Genesis chapter 1. This is how God counts the days, right? He says, I'm going to start at verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Yeah.
So where are you getting morning to morning? Can you show me that
Yes.
in scripture? 'Cause it
So that
says
was
the
the
evening
KJV, right?
throughout the rest. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, so the KJV, if you have, it depends which Bible you have, but certain margins actually correct this. It's basically trying to say, and the evening was, and the morning was the first day. And you can see this in other translations like the Septuagint, where it's not saying evening and the morning were the first day, but rather after God does his work, then comes evening, then comes morning, and the first day ends at morning of the next day. Even other English translations show this, but evening and morning in the Hebrew, they're not 24 or 12-hour periods. So you can't take evening and morning and make them add up to 24 hours. It's just transitionary periods between light and darkness. So God does his work, 12 hours, okay, then evening, 12 more hours, then morning, and the first day ends right there at morning of the next day. Then he begins creating again in day two.
Okay. So who, based off the prompt, I respect everything that we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Much love about it, but that's not what the prompt is about. I was wanting to ask. I ask people who are Israel, and does it matter who Israel is in this time?
Well, it does matter. It's the people who are keeping the covenant. Galatians 3 verse 29 says, "If you be Christ's, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. But we're not Christ if we aren't obeying what he commanded." And of course, he did teach the 10 commandments. You know, he taught us how to lawfully observe the Sabbath day in the New Testament, and Christians ignore that. But also, if you're doing the evening to evening Sabbath, well, that's sin. It's disobedience, even if you're ignorant about the fact that it is morning to morning. It is something that still needs to be corrected. Same thing with the feast days. If you actually check Acts 18:21 and then Acts 20, verse 16, okay, there's two witnesses there in the New Testament, Acts 18 and 20. Paul, he had to return back to Jerusalem in order to keep the feast days in the New Testament after the Messiah died on the stake or storos, right? So that means that the
So,
location
so,
requirement still stands. It never changed.
so who are the people on the outer courts? Because I mean, we're talking. I understand. I hear what you're talking about. You're talking about the feast days and stuff. I'm
Okay, yeah, it's
asking who the
important.
people that the Israel is. So, I heard what you said based off Galatians. So, Who are those Gentiles on the outer courts for speaking in Revelations?
Well, it's many people's. It's people who aren't in covenant really today, but I know what you're getting at. But today, it says in Acts 10, we should call no man common or unclean. Okay, so regardless of
I'm
what
not
someone's
calling nobody
flesh
unclean.
is,
Hey, I'm not calling anybody unclean. I'm
okay,
asking.
God is
You
no
said
respecter of persons. It says that in the same
I
chapter.
understand
Anyone who
that.
fears
You're
God and
not
works
answering the
righteousness
question.
is accepted before him.
You're not answering the question, brother.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
being
because you're
patient.
focusing on the flesh. You don't need to worry about
You're
someone is by their skin color or their
See, that's the
DNA.
problem. See, that's the problem.
How's
Because
that a
that's why
problem?
so many other people are. I'm gonna tell you why it's the problem. That's why
If
so
anyone
many
can be
other people
grafted
say
in, then it doesn't matter what their physical original skin color was. Then it doesn't matter what their physical original skin